Hey guys, what is up, and I welcome each and every one of you to a new League of Legends video. So when I say the word Kog'Maw, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? Chances are it's probably nothing very positive because this champion has been considered to be quite obnoxious for the past couple of patches. Pretty much ever since Riot decided to overload his W ability and pretty much give it everything he needs, he's been ridiculously strong. If he's not set ridiculously far behind in the laning phase, or if you don't have assassin type champions or bruiser type champions to jump on him and kill him in a team fight, and if you get the game to about 25, 30, maybe even 35 minutes, well, chances are you've experienced the pain and torture that is current Kog'Maw. Kog'Maw went from being ridiculously underwhelming in the preseason ever since Riot did the ADC rework, all the way to what he currently is considered, either pick or ban of an ADC champion. And just for statistical purposes, here is the win rate and play rate of Kog'Maw in the last patch for Platinum and above. He went from about 3% play rate a couple of patches ago to almost 10%, and his win ratio is just over 56%, being the highest in the ADC role. So clearly Kog'Maw is a little out of line because, in my personal opinion, anything over 53 or maybe even 54% win rate might be considered a little too strong. But the purpose of this video, based on the title, isn't to brag about how strong Kog'Maw is. In fact, it's actually quite the opposite, talking about the nerfs on the PvE. So first, I'm gonna very quickly show you guys what the nerfs are, or I guess the changes. And then we'll go more in detail with these changes, talk about how it's going to affect them, if it's good, if it's bad, and we'll even compare the differences between the current live Kog'Maw and the Kog'Maw on the PvE server. So very quickly, the question of this video is, do you think the changes that I'll talk about in just a bit are enough to balance Kog'Maw and not make him so overpowered? And as usual guys, if you end up enjoying this video, please don't forget to hit that like button. Alright, so let's get the very basic and quick stuff out of the way. What exactly are these changes? What are the nerfs? Well, the first thing you should be asking yourself, what was the main issue with Kog'Maw? If your answer is, well, you can stand there auto-attacking me to death because of the ridiculous amount of attack speed he gains, then your answer is correct. So when looking at this picture, the main thing you want to be focusing on is the very top stat, along with the changes to Kog'Maw's W. So the first thing you can see, the W no longer grants the passive enormous bonus attack speed. This was what made Kog'Maw's kit, and especially his W, simply overloaded. But the fact that now it's removed, well, to compensate by a little bit, his attack speed growth got increased by double. The other things to look at is, well, the mana cost on his Q got reduced to 40 at all ranks, but the other change you see to the Q actually got reverted, so you can ignore it. And the change to his ultimate at the bottom also got reverted just recently. However, even with the reverted changes, it still gives you an idea of what Riot is trying to do. So these are the changes that happened to Kog'Maw. Now, if you don't understand maybe some of this, or what it really means, or how much of a nerf this really is, this is where I'll talk about this much more in detail. So as I said earlier, the main issue with current Kog'Maw, or the Kog'Maw on the live servers, is the fact that he can get so much attack speed that he can just stand there auto-attacking you to death, and usually there's very little you can do about it. So the changes to his W, losing the passive bonus attack speed effect, and also him gaining the new doubled attack speed gain per level, will be the main focus. Alright, so the current Kog'Maw on the live server, his W at rank 5 will give him 35% bonus attack speed. Now without question, everyone currently maxes this ability first, so by level 9, you have your W ability at rank 5, therefore getting the 35% bonus attack speed. And Kog'Maw's current attack speed growth per level is sitting at 1.5, which also means essentially that at level 18, just from hitting level 18, he's getting 25.5% bonus attack speed. But if we were to compare this to what the Kog'Maw on the PvE currently has, which are the nerfs to his attack speed, you can see at the bottom there that he will now get plus 3 attack speed gain per level. What this means is now at level 18, he will actually get plus 51% attack speed just from hitting level 18 off of his base attack speed. So clearly that's double than what he's getting on the current live server, but you have to remember, this is without the bonus attack speed he's gaining from his W, which is a whopping 35%. So let's take a look at how Kog'Maw would look like at level 9, because again, currently that's when his W is maxed out and he's already gaining 35% attack speed. On the live servers, at level 9, he's already gotten 10.1 increased attack speed again just from hitting level 9. But then you add in the 35% gain from his W, which is by now rank 5 again at level 9 Kog'Maw. well, you're already sitting at a pretty impressive 45.1% increased attack speed. And then when you activate his W, which essentially just doubles your attack speed, he will be sitting at just over 90% increased attack speed with his W on at level 9 with no items. Now I say with no items because it just makes things much easier to compare. If we were to add items to these comparisons, you have to remember attack speed is a multiplicative type stat. So any other offensive stats you get, whether it's also more attack speed or maybe crit chance or whatever, it'll obviously give you much more stats and potential damage on a champion that has flat out more attack speed. So essentially what I'm trying to say is, if we were to add items into the mix while comparing the current Kog'Maw and the PvE Kog'Maw, it'll only make the difference in power even greater, making the current Kog'Maw on the live server seem even stronger. Now if we go back to the Kog'Maw on the PvE server with the new changes, at level 9 he's going to be sitting at, again, double the attack speed gained per level, so 20.2. Unfortunately though, he does not have any other attack speed coming in anywhere from his own kit like he does on the live service from his W. So here we have level 9 PvE Kog'Maw, you activate the W, you double your attack speed, but you're only sitting at just over 40% increased attack speed, while the live Kog'Maw at level 9 will be sitting at just over 90%, so more than double. So this should give you a pretty decent example at how the nerfs are hitting Kog'Maw. But now if we jump all the way to level 18, again with no items, the current live Kog'Maw at level 18 has gained 25.5% increased attack speed, again just from hitting level 18. And then combining the 35% attack speed gained from his W's passive, well, he's sitting at 60.5% increased attack speed. Activate the W, double your attack speed, and you'll be sitting at plus 121% increased attack speed for the duration of the W. Again, this is just with Kog'Maw's kit, no items whatsoever. And then if we switch the focus back to the PvE Kog'Maw sitting at level 18, well, his base attack speed is actually 51%, which is only about 10% less attack speed than the Kog'Maw on the live servers. And then if you activate the W, well, the PvE Kog'Maw will be sitting at just over 100% increased attack speed, which is only about 20 less. So clearly, as the levels continue going up to level 18, the difference becomes less and less and less. The main thing this nerf is affecting is the amount of attack speed Kog'Maw is getting at level 9 and throughout those few levels as well. Because the current biggest problem with Kog'Maw is, well, I mean, just with 2 items and having the W at level 9, you're getting so much power spike from just those items and stats that he's becoming the hyper carry he should be much later into the game, a lot earlier into the game. And this is where the problem really lies, and this is what the nerfs are addressing primarily. But of course, Kog'Maw's W on the PvE server also gives him a little bit of flat damage gained per auto attack. Now in my honest opinion, I don't think that's anything absolutely crazy, because now maxing your W first might not even be the best option, since currently the attack speed gained is very useful for the items that you're getting, and it's also a passive stat, while the bonus damage on his W on the PvE server is only when the W is active. So if people still max their W first, maybe his laning phase will actually be a little bit better. But that's perfectly fine, because it takes him much longer now to get to the same power spike point that he currently can on the live servers. So it'll be very interesting to see how this plays out. And then you have the very small buff that's still remaining on Kog'Maw on the PvE to his Q with the 40 mana. So it seems like Riot is finally trying to entice us to want to level his Q ability and not leave it till the very last moment. The final thing we'll do in this video is take a look at a real comparison between the live Kog'Maw and the current Kog'Maw at level 9 with one item this time, Gwynsu's Rageblade. And this will give us a better visual idea on the difference in strengths of the two Kog'Maws. So if maybe what I just explained was a little confusing, or maybe you just want to see an actual visual representation of the differences in strengths of the current Kog'Maw and the PvE nerfed Kog'Maw, here's the best way to see it. Both Kog'Maws are level 9, it's 15 minutes in both games, they both only have one item being the Gwynsu's Rageblade, both of them have their W maxed out, 3 points in E, 1 point in ultimate, both are level 9. The exact same runes, the exact same masteries, and you can see the Kog'Maw on the left, which is the current live Kog'Maw, happened to kill the dragon much more quickly and efficiently. So now that we went through the math, we went through the changes, we went through even a visual representation, let's end it off by taking a look at the conclusions of the changes. So if you were to look at it in the simplest of terms, what does this really mean for Kog'Maw? Well, the changes on the PvE to Kog'Maw are without question a nerf, and a pretty good one at that. His insane attack speed power that he gains just solely from his skit, and very early on into his skit as well, is no longer. Now in order to gain some respectable amount of attack speed from just being Kog'Maw, you will have to wait much later into the game, since now the attack speed gained from the W is not so ridiculous to the point where you pretty much hit your power power spike about at level 11, maybe 12, or by the time you get your first 2 items, which is after your W is maxed. To compensate or to help Kog'Maw out a little bit with these heavy attack speed nerfs, Ride buffed his Q and his ultimate by just a little bit. So the nerf to Kog'Maw is very justifiable, and I 100% agree. They're changing Kog'Maw and his playstyle back to how it really should be, the true late game hyper carry, not someone who power spikes 25 minutes into the game, becomes absolutely unstoppable, and essentially hits his true power spike, or what he really should be, about 10 or 15 minutes way too early into the game. Overall, I think these are really good nerfs to the point where obviously it's definitely going to hit Kog'Maw quite hard, but not only does he deserve it, it will not put him in such a spot where he'll be pretty much unplayable either. And that about wraps it up for this video talking about the Kog'Maw nerfs. With all the numbers thrown around everywhere, this might have been a little more of a confusing video than the usual, but I really tried my best to make it as easy to understand as I could. So if you still have any questions, make sure you write them down in the comments below. Answer the question also please that I asked at the beginning of the video, and maybe you'll see your name at the next video. But either way, if you did enjoy the video, please definitely hit that like button, subscribe, share this with your friends so everyone else has an idea on what's happening to Kog'Maw. And here are my favorite answers from the previous video's question asking you what you think about the Jarvan buffs. But I thank each and every one of you so much for watching, and I really hope to see you for the next video. Peace.